Ya la la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la la ya la la ya la la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. So this week's Parsha speaks of the curse that became the blessing Matovu. If you want to follow along the words, it's on page 192 in the square brackets. That repeats.
Shabbat Shalom and welcome. I'm Rabbi Javier Carapan and I am joined this evening by Leslie and our musicians and our technical team of one. As always, thank you to our vow committee for bringing us beyond our walls, and our committee is always looking for help with streaming and other things related to that. Please let our office know and we'll get you in touch with the committee. For those of us here in person, we're calling the page numbers in the square brackets. And just take a moment to make sure that all your electronic devices are on silence. We had not planned to do an outdoor service tonight, but if we had, it would have been indoors like this. So this is kind of the version of the outdoors, indoors feeling. You can see the outdoors, but you don't feel it.
It's one of those times when we got it right. We'll be close to the outdoors, but not in it.
So we welcome Shabbat together. It is, we have candles here, not for now, but if you would like to light them before you go home to welcome Shabbat, you're welcome to do that. But until then, we will. Are you going to go do one? We can we'll all do it together. You're doing fine.
I might need a nap.
It's been a long day here at Beth Torah. But now it's Shabbat, so we need to relax. And welcome Shabbat together. On page 138, we will join in Lechadodi. We're singing stanzas 1, 2, and 9. Now, if you wonder which way you're going to face for Boicha, we're going to face Dave, our bow committee of one. So, and you may actually be on camera. I don't know what he's going to do when we all face west, but we will see it. West, that's west. Yes.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shahamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, Hishmiyanu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem el tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha, ki hi mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Boi v'shalom atzeret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei hamsegula. Boichala, boichala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Continue together on page 140.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך להגיד בבוקר חסדך,
continue with Baruch Hu is on page 146, and if you are able, please stand and join us.
Yai, lai, lai, lai.
Yai, lai, lai, lai.
Lai, 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 lai.
Yai, lai, 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 lai.
Yai, lai, 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 lai.
Lai, 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 lai.
Baruch et Adonai.
Et Adonai. Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach, Le'olam, We continue together on page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 150. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Israel. Page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Amen. We continue on page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה, נורא תהילות עושה, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, מלכותך בניך, חוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה לי ענו ואמרו, זה לי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יא לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה.
We continue together in the middle of page 161. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, O guardian, to life renewed.
160.
160, I'm sorry.
I was just watching.
Let's do it together then. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, O guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. God, are going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. 162.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם
ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 שפתי תפתח. Na 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 ופי יגיד, ופי יגיד תהילתך. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 שפתי תפתח. Na 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 ופי יגיד, ופי יגיד תהילתך. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 שפתי תפתח. Na 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 ופי יגיד, ופי יגיד תהילתך.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מתים אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים, זומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue our Amidah silently through page 180. As we gather on this Shabbat, we turn our thoughts to those in need of healing. So go around our circle of prayer. If you have a name you'd like to offer, please do so. Thank you. On this side. On this other side. As we think of those in need of healing, we join together in the Misha Berach prayers on page 371. May the one who blessed our ancestors bring blessings of strength, compassion, and healing to those of us who struggle with the oppression of addiction, emotional distress, and mental suffering. Surround them with loving kindness, grace, companionship, and peace. With the full of Shalom, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. It is now time for our Simcha moment. We invite you to share a special Simcha from this past week that may include your birthday, anniversary, good news, and accomplishments. When you come up, for those of you who are here, please watch your steps. There are cables across here in the middle. If you type those online, we'll be able to read them if there are any. Our technical team will let me know. And we ask you, when you come up here to the mic, you tell us who you are, and in a couple of sentences, why you're here.
Everybody had a terrible week.
It was a terrible week, I tell you. I mean, what can I say?
It's a very hot week. I think it's hard to have things happen when it's so hot.
Two things. My name is Chris, and does this work? Carol's not here. I'm not Carol, but I brought her lunch today, and she's very happy about that. Okay. Number two, as some of you know, we had a little sump pump issue in our basement. We had to replace all the flooring. That hasn't happened yet, but the deconstruction is over, and the construction and installation is about to begin.
Yeah, well, yes.
That's a lot of stuff going on.
You know, and I was thinking, I don't know if it's a simcha, I suppose, that I survived 7 years as the rabbi of Bestor. Today will be the end of my 7th year.
Wow.
Got one more whole year ahead of us. So. But it's been about 7 years or so when I met many of you. So, yeah, it's my favorite. That was the end of my favorite year. What can I say?
I don't know how to count. This is either the end of my 5th year or my 4th year. Math is hard.
Ooh, now I don't remember.
I don't know. So it's 2019. Is that 4 years or 5 years? I don't remember how you count. Do you count the first year?
Yes.
Well, yeah, you have to count, yes. Yeah. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months.
20, 21, 22, 23.
Well, but Leslie, you forget, you were here my first year.
That's right.
Doing
in a
something
different
else.
Yes.
doing something else.
Yeah, the rabbi's first year, I worked as a completely different job. And those of you who were here at the time might remember the talent show, which is
very
how
famous,
we
yes.
introduced the rabbi to the congregation. We sang, "Anything you can do, I can do better," and it was a delight.
In that year, some of you might not have it, but Marcia came out of retirement to join the team for one more year. Wow, it was quite a year. Not because everything fell apart between the moment.
Excellent.
Wife Barbara there. It's my dad's yard site tonight. So last Friday was my birthday. That was a very happy day.
Happy birthday.
Are there any online? We are with us. Yeah.
It's not that hard. You just.
I'm looking too. I don't see anything.
My daughter Yali was promoted to captain in the United States Army.
Oh. Nice.
And tomorrow morning she'll be on a flight to Honolulu, Hawaii. That's her posting for the next 3 years.
Oh, wow.
So for those of you who remembered little Yali, she's a captain, and she wishes she were a general, but that's the way things go.
And this is Scott Franklin.
One thing at a time. She'll get there. We honor each one of you for the gifts that you bring to our sacred community. Together, we join in song as we mark this sacred occasion. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו בזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו בזמן הזה. The heat outside reminds me that it's summer camp season. And you may not know this, but summer camps are really a great tradition in America. The rest of the world, not so much. This is a really big thing here in our country. And as part of that tradition, of course, the Jews didn't want to be left out, so we also have our own version of overnight camps, overnight Jewish camp. And there are wonderful opportunities to promote Jewish values like tzedakah, kehillah, community. And it's really a challenge for the madrichim, for the counselors, to achieve a sense of bonding in their cabins. Now, you may not know this. Maybe some of you do because you work at camp or went to camp yourselves. There's no air conditioning. Sometimes there may be a fan here and there, but it's hot and humid. There are lots of bugs everywhere, and that's just about how it happens. Now, yeah, we do. The faculty gets that's different, Marissa. But it's still bugs. I had in my cabin all the time. The bugs are still there. They come in to cool from the outside, right? Because I'm not very fond of those, air conditioning units. I can't sleep with those, so I have to turn it off and on and off. Anyways, do I miss it? That part, probably not. I actually had at one camp I worked, I had some of my underwear eaten by mice. Inside the drawers that I had, I didn't realize, and after like a few days, they had holes in them. Do I miss it? No. But I do miss the realization that in the middle of the swimming and the horseback riding and the theater and all the other things, by the end of the first week, many of the campers seem to get it. In the law of the cabin, being selfish is not a value. There are many who may not know the theory behind it, but it's really about humility. And that is the key to create a cohesive Kehillah community in their cabin. They kind of have to give a little thing up of themselves and not be all about me all the time. That might do what they do at home. It doesn't work at camp. The difference between being selfish and being selfless is really a fundamental part of our tradition. According to the Midrash, two individuals who appear in the Torah exemplify the values of humility and arrogance. And they are, on the one hand, Abraham, and on the other hand, Balaam. Now, Abraham is well known for standing for many things, but one of them is for standing for the people of Sodom and Gomorrah and for being a diligent follower of God. Balaam is the seer who basically is known for talking to donkeys and who tried to curse the Jewish people, but it backfired. And Leslie made reference at the beginning, his third blessing, which we'll sing more later on, curse ends up being a blessing. This week's Torah portion, Parashat Balak, is not called Balaam, don't ask me why, but I'll tell you. It's named actually after a king who sent Balaam to do the cursing. And in this Torah portion, we find the introduction of, again, one of the most famous non-Jewish prophets. But one of his characteristics is that he was, according to the Midrash, selfish. Needless to say, Balaam must have never attended overnight summer camp. According to the Torah, at the command of Balak, the king of Moab, Balaam attempts to curse the Jewish people and fails 3 times. And each time he produced a blessing. His third attempt at delivering a curse is, of course, the most famous of them all. And the words are, Ma tovu oholecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Israel. How fair are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. According to the Midrash, Balaam was looking to save his own skin. He is known as Bilam HaRasha, the wicked Balaam. Same appellative as Haman HaRasha. Thank you very much. Thanks for paying attention. Now, in Pirkei Avot, in the Ethics of the Sages, we find this famous comparison between Abraham and Balaam. Quote, 3 traits are found among the disciples of Abraham: a good eye, a humble spirit, and a generous soul. And 3 traits are found among the disciples of Balaam: an evil eye, an arrogant spirit, and a greedy soul. Now, you choose. Right? Now, Abraham and Balaam had the ability to bless and to curse. Both were on intimate terms with God, and they had the potential to be great spiritual teachers. And as it is often the case with everything in life, similar people sometimes make very different choices. In the story we read in this week's Torah portion, Balaam could have refused Balak's requests, but of course he did not. Instead, Balaam used the gifts of prophecy to gain personal wealth and honor. And the Torah seems to like Balaam maybe a little bit too much. He's really a talented speaker and a great poet. And Balaam had great potential, but he fails to show humility. Balaam fails to use his gifts for the good of the Kehillah, of the comparison of the community. And this comparison between Abraham and Balaam goes a step further. Pirkei Avot concludes with a warning. Those who follow the example of Abraham are selfless, and they will be rewarded. And those who follow the example of Balaam are selfish and will be sent to Gehinnom, a sort of Jewish version of hell. And earlier today, somebody said to me, oh, Jews don't believe in hell. Well, here's a story, though, told to a rabbi who had a dream, and in her dream, God showed her heaven and hell. Now, stay with me for a minute here, those who don't believe that Jews have heaven and hell. Now, hell is basically a room with a big round table and a large pot of stew in the middle. And people around the table all look very famished and desperate. Now, the people sitting around that table had long spoons with very long handles. And they could reach the pot, but of course, with the handles being so long, they couldn't feed themselves. And then God showed the rabbi heaven. And strangely enough, it was exactly the same setup. Exactly the same setup. Round table, large pot, spoons with long handles. But the people there looked just happy, nourished, plump. So the rabbi could not really understand what was going on. So God said, the difference is that in heaven, they learned to feed each other. It is hard not to think about the contrast between the followers of Abraham and the followers of Balaam, between selfless and selfish individuals, when we consider, and I'm going to get political, the recent news coming out of the U.S. Supreme Court. I just said that they're actually going to be followers of Balaam, I think, but maybe I'm wrong. The incredible corruption of Justices Thomas and Alito in particular are really appalling. If one pairs that with the recent decisions to end affirmative action in college admissions and to block the administration's attempts at some compassion for many young Americans who are struggling with student debt, there is a good reason to believe that what the justices in the majority are creating is, for lack of a better word, a hell on earth for some of us. In addition, it is discouraging how they manage to give people like that woman in Colorado license to spread their anti-queer hatred. She doesn't even own a company that creates web pages. Did you know that? And still, it's pure religious vitriol and intolerance of the kind that this overwhelming, this particular court is something that we know that the overwhelming majority of Americans, most of us, want no part of it. It is hard to believe that this is not all about a small group of religious bigots buying the U.S. Supreme Court justices and trying to bring our nation back into the Stone Age. There's nothing compassionate, sacred, or religious about the conservative majority in the Roberts Court. They're out of touch, and they will hurt many of us, and it will not make for a more perfect union. In the middle of all these now June surprises that we're having apparently every year, the lessons of those feeding each other at least gives me some hope, because are the majority of us. Hope that we can surround ourselves with people who practice humility. And I say hope because that is all we really can have at this point. We cannot force people to be humble or to be selfless or less corrupt. So we hope that others in our family, in our friend circles, in our cabin, and our congregation and our wider community are willing to be selfless in the way that they relate to us and to each other. But above all, we do have one power, which is to make our own choices. We understand corruption and arrogance when we see it, and at the same time, each one of us knows what a selfless act is when we see it. As we recall the actions of Balaam and Abraham, let us be reminded that we can be true heirs and followers of Abraham's and create our own heaven on earth, right here, right now. We all have the potential to make heaven happen for those around us. May we be so blessed that our actions create a little piece of heaven among us. And have a Shabbat Shalom, everybody. As we gather back here on our, what do we call this area? Our Ulam Bima. Ulbima. We invite you to stand on page 586 for Aleinu L'Shabeach.
Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, L'Tet Gedula L'Yotze Breshit, Shelo Asanu Kegoye Aratzot, Velo Zamanu Kemishpachot Ha'adama, Shelo Sam Chelkeinu Kahem, V'gor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, V'anachnu Korim U'mishtachavim U'modim Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Oh, 592, I think.
591.
591.
Sorry. V'ne'emar ve'haya Adonai lemelech
haaretz bayom hahu yihye Adonai echad u'shemo echad. V'ne'emar ve'haya Adonai
lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihye Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Bayom hahu yihye Adonai, Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Bayom hahu yihye Adonai echad u'shemo echad. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Our thoughts turn now to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those who our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation who have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. As a congregation, we are observing the Shloshim period for the death of Sharon Kaur's cousin of Howard Pittler. And on this Shabbat, we remember the following yortzites of members of our congregation: Bradley Applebaum, Lily Steinzig Bernstein, Joel Blackman, Kenneth Bram, Harold Brookman, Judith Phyllis Fremmerman, Julia Gewurtz, Isadore Katz, Jennifer Beth Kay, Harry Kirstein, Eva Miller, Aliza Meyer, I. Marshall Napshin, Joan K. Napshin, Sally Riker, Irene Robbins, Charles Rosenstock, Norman Safner, Rena Siegel, Margaret Bender-Smith, John Warady, Charles Bud Wennick, Sue Grebner-Wary, Alan Martin Yedlin. Zichronam livracha, may the memory be for a blessing. Page 598. If you're able, we invite you to stand. We recite Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חיותה וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח בית פאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, בית הדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דא אמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועמו ישראל ועמו
Time for some announcements. First, though, thank you to our musicians, Leslie, Howard, and Warren, and to our Shalom squad and ushers this evening, Scott Franklin, and Judy Weingarten. And in just a moment, as we move over here, we will thank in advance Bart Mendelson.
Surprise?
Well, it's on my script.
Oh, our next summer schedule weekend is upon us. The campus is closed Saturday and Sunday for summer break. So our next
And Monday.
And Monday because we're always closed on Monday, and Tuesday because it is the federal holiday, Independence Day. So don't try to get in the building again until Wednesday, or alarms will go off. And if you've never had that pleasure, it is a treat, let me tell you. So our next Shabbat service that we celebrate together in the sanctuary will be July 7th, and we'll have a Friday night Torah service.
Our first summer with CBT activities is coming Thursday. Join CBT and Menahelet Morgan at the movies at 10 a.m. At B&B Theater. It's July 6th.
Yeah, I think they're watching Space Jam, and everyone is welcome if your morning is free. And your next chance to save a life happens in 11 days. Our summer blood drive is July 11th. You can register online, or there's QR codes on some flyers over there and on the slide deck, and on our website is a link, so all kinds of ways.
We hope you are planning to join us for Mazel Tov Havdalah next weekend. It's Saturday. Keep bringing your pet supply donations, and then you can next Saturday bring yourselves and your dog or dogs to CBT. It's going to be outdoors.
A dog is not required. You can come even if you don't have a dog. We'll let you know.
But if it rains torrentially, we'll let you know. We'll make a decision by 3 p.m. on Saturday.
Yes, and all of these things you can see on the lovely kiosk slide situation here, plus so many more. And I will tell you, so I do a slide for upcoming things in a month. July has so much goodness in it, I had to do it on 2 slides. So 2 slides worth of activities in July are slow month.
As we mentioned early on this evening, Ma Tovu is our song for today. Came from Bilam. You know more about him now that you always wanted to know, or ever. But still, it's part of our prayer books, and it is on page 192 if you want to follow along. And if you're able, please stand and join us. We have many versions of Ma Tovu. Who wrote this one?
Jeff Klepper.
All right. מה טוב הוא אוהליך יעקב, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. מה טוב הוא אוהליך יעקב, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. מה טוב הוא אוהליך יעקב, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. מה טוב הוא אוהליך יעקב, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך Israel. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Take care of
Please
each
join
other
us
out there.
here on our Kiddush and Amotzi.